One dimension of this collapse in the production system that seems particularly frightening to me is food production.
Yep.
Is food insecurity something in particular you would
Oh, yeah.
expect?
I mean, again, we humans don't humans, pardon me, I tend to I get so sick of what I see that I start talking about humans as a separate species. But uh, people aren't generally aware of the extent to which we rely upon oil for our food. So, was called the Green Revolution, you might actually call the Brown Revolution, because it involved using artificial fertilizers to drastically increase food output. And that's using a range of techniques that were invented in the early 19th century to make nitrogenous and phosphate-based fertilizers. And something of the order of one third of the world's fertilizer comes through the Gulf of Hormuz, again, because of the nature of the oil that they produce, this so-called sour oil. It has a higher hydrogen content, sorry, sulfur content, and that means it can be used for this byproduct of the refinery gives you elements that you need for making fertilizer. So it makes sense to base a lot of the fertilizer production systems of the planet in the Middle East. And therefore, we're looking at about a 30% fall in global fertilizer supplies. Now, without fertilizers, food output on the planet would be limited to enough to support about 2 billion people. Okay? So we are facing a fall from being able to feed 8 million people to, say, maybe a capacity to feed 6 billion people. And then we do have a bit of a buffer in the sense that about 30% of the food that we create, we waste. So maybe you can be more efficient in handling the waste food. But at the same time, it means that you are facing, if there was, say, just a 30% fall, and it's going to be non-linear, it's more likely to be more than a 30% fall in food production because of a 30% fall in fertilizer. But with that outcome, you're likely to be unable to feed the entire population of the planet. And then the question is, we're going to get famines coming out of this. It's a bit of a crapshoot as to who cops the famine. And normally people think it's going to be, third world countries that have famines and not the rich don't have it. But countries like the UK, for example, rely upon imports for more than 40% of their food. Now, if we get to the situation where there's a global shortage of food, not just a localized one, but a global shortage, there's no longer any guarantee that countries like England, which of course can pay more for food than India, are actually going to be able to buy that food. And we've seen already some decisions by food exporters like India 3 years ago decided not to export rice because of a bad rice harvest. It only exported basmati at that stage. Now it's back to exporting all forms of rice that it makes, but they could easily make that same decision again. No rice exports from India. Russia and Ukraine are in a similar situation. They could go the same way. There are plenty of countries with expansive food production capabilities like Australia, which produces 7 times as much food as it consumes. Apparently, Australian farmers have decided to use half as much fertilizer, given the cost of fertilizer. So therefore, that means maybe half as much food being produced by Australia. So all these things imply a global shortage of food. It'll probably hit Southeast Asia first, but it's going to hit the globe.